Why don't you go on? Go on. Go on. Go! Erg. Hey, folks. Adam here. No. We're going to talk for a minute. You go lay over there for a little bit. Oh, it's Saturday night and I ain't got nobody. I'm here. I'm bored. I got my covers for all my games. Sorry, I got to reach in front of the camera here. Don't want to get too loud. I got the plastic covers finally in the mail. They got lost in transit. I had to get a hold of the guy through eBay. He shipped another one second day air. Made it here this evening. So I've been putting a lot of covers on some games. I decided to take a break from the regular Nintendo ones because I still have about 50 to do. And switched to Super Nintendo for a minute because I had bought some of those. So I grabbed about 7 or 8 games off the shelf and I started putting them in there. I might grab a couple real quick to show you how they look. Since we're here, oh yeah, that too, I guess. Okay. Yeah, that's enough. So, anyway, I started putting the boxes together and stuff, and they came out pretty nice looking. They're, nice and shiny. And I like the way they fit. These fit a little snugger than the Nintendo ones. Are a little bit looser, but I think they're kind of more universal. Like I said, they kind of fit the Sega Genesis cardboard box games. But yeah, there's Final Fantasy II. Do you remember when I picked that up? Gold star to whoever knows where I got this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I got it at the Belton Vintage Stock, and I don't remember how much I paid, but the receipt might be in there. I'm not going to open it to look right now, though. This is my original from when I was a youngster, when I was about 20, or whenever it came out. Then this game was brand new. I bought it brand new. So, Final Fantasy III, it's one of the last role-playing games I really have played through. Actually, I would have to say Final Fantasy VII is the last, what I would consider the old school kind of role-playing game that I played through all the way. So, I did do Final Fantasy 2 and 3 though. And then here we are with Super Mario RPG. I don't remember why I bought this, because I wasn't a huge Mario fan. I think it was because I saw it at Toys R Us and they had them on sale, because it was the Super Nintendo was starting to get phased out for the N64, I think. So they were kind of trying to get rid of them, believe it or not, at that time. And yeah, so those came out looking pretty nice. I hope the camera's stable. I'm going to turn it just to see, make sure. Okay. Sorry, folks. I have to check. I'm trying to talk a little faster. Anyway, the Repro boxes came. I thought I'd show you the differences because, as a printing person, I think I could have come a lot closer with the artwork to match the original box, but I don't think that's the point. I don't think we're trying to counterfeit it, per se. It's just a repro. But here's the repro box. It's nice and shiny, shiny, shiny. But I will point out the differences here in just a second. Okay. The first thing I noticed was the font on the side. This one's italicized, this one's not, and I think it's a different font. The Nintendo logo is slightly bigger on the original one, where it says Entertainment System, than the other one is. And then if you look on the front, the Action Series logo, finally getting in frame here. On the front, the Action Series logo is a different shape altogether and color. There's a different Nintendo seal on the cover as well. And the pictures on the backs are different. I'm saying this is something to look for, is what I'm saying, if you are looking for a game so you know what not to get. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're trying to say this is a counterfeit box, because I'm saying as a graphic artist, I could recreate this box as is, but I have no means to print them, so what would be the point? So anyway, I'm kind of glad I bought this anyway, just because of it is kind of neat to look at. Actually, the Castlevania one looks pretty damn close. Now, the Dracula's Curse is a slightly darker color, and I don't know if that's the way the print job came out or what, but the Castlevania box actually looks really close, and I think it's because no fonts really had to be used. Now, I don't know about the pictures on the back, if they're the same as what's on the real box. But these boxes this one looks really, really good. Now this one, I think the color just looks odd on the box. It looks darker, way darker than this one. And I think even from the Simon's Quest one, not unless Simon's Quest one's a different shade in between these two for some reason, and that was supposed to be a unique thing. I don't know, but, they were like 12 bucks. If you're just wanting something to put your game in that's not too expensive and kind of looks like the original, then buy those. But they're not originals. You just got to keep your eye out for a good one. And I'm still keeping an eye out for a good box, original box, or I'll just buy a whole another one eventually sometime when I get more mad money. That wasn't even what I was going to talk about. Super Nintendo. I was cleaning. I was putting those in, but I knew when I found my Super Metroid over there, my favorite Super NES game ever made for me, and I found my original. The original, the box is a little rattier, and then I have this one that I bought that the box is in really great shape. This box looks like it never really was touched. And the thing is this was a rental game. And I don't know if maybe they just put something else out on the shelf to show it was a rental, because the box looks brand new, and even the insert is very new looking. It's uncrushed. I mean, this is one of the best looking boxes I've ever seen. But the game was a different story. The game, I left part of one of the stickers on it. The void sticker for the moment. I'm going to get that off of there. But there was a big Blockbuster Video warning sticker along this whole edge, folded all the way around this side. And it was stuck down pretty good. So I started working on this. But then I got to thinking while I was working on this about something. And I know this is kind of weird. But I got to thinking about this being a rental cartridge. And the fact that when I was a kid, I remember renting games, and we would rent them, and you might not beat it by the end, and maybe you had enough money to re-rent it when you got back over to the store, but maybe you didn't, and you were hoping somebody didn't erase your file because maybe you saved it in the bottom slot, or something. And I remember that quite a bit, and I remember, just the idea of renting a game and having the money to go up and stare at a big pegboard. Originally it was like a pegboard of games, and you would just pull them off and take it up there, and they would go get the game from the back in the plastic shell case, and then you would go home, and maybe what's really would be really bizarre is if you actually had the real instruction book, because after a while it just became a point where they didn't even want to give you the instructions anymore, you know, so they just would you know, give you a photocopy or maybe not even give you any instructions at all. That was always great when you got like a game like Deadly Towers or something and for the weekend, and you didn't have any instructions or any idea how to play it at all, you know, and it just sucked anyway. So but think about how many kids, machines, even adults maybe that rented this, machines this went in and out of, how many times it was beaten on this cartridge. You know, by how many different people maybe it was beaten on this particular cartridge. And then when it finally got to where they pulled it off the shelf for some reason because Nintendo 64 came along or whatever, and they boxed it up and somehow it ended up somewhere to where it got sold to vintage stock, and then it came to me, and then here I am with it. So this cartridge has a hell of a story to tell. And I just found that very interesting when I was sitting here thinking about it. About how many people have enjoyed that game, you know, or hated it, bought it, rented it, and just thought it sucked, couldn't wait to take it back. That wasn't my experience, but maybe some people. And it's just wild to think about. And you know, now I'm wondering, you know, how many of these games that I have that I don't even remember because I did take the stickers off that were rentals, and I don't know. Because, I mean, it's just, so I know one of them, I was looking at the gotcha box over there. It's got a foil kind of video store stamp on the bottom. And I'm not going to peel it off because I think it'll rip part of the box. But it says it's from Massachusetts. And I'm like, well, damn, you know, crazy. So, how did it get here in Missouri? I might have ordered it off eBay, but, you know, it's just wild. Very wild to think about the journey. But I remember it was like mom and pop shops in the beginning might have a few video games on the pegboard, you know, and then I remember we actually got a video card to a real like chain video store. It was like Applause Video, you know, and then it was Movies at Home. And I remember going to Movies at Home, and they just have like 3 big racks of Nintendo games and a little bitty section of Sega Master System games at that time, because the Genesis wasn't even out yet. But a little bit, like maybe 6 or 8, but I was surprised they even had them, you know. And, you know, 50 Nintendo games, you know. And it's just, it's crazy. I had our video card. My parents didn't even have it. I had it as a kid even, you know, and if they needed it to, because they were going to go rent stuff, they got it from me because I went up there all the time on my bike and rented. So, I don't know. Some of you might hate that crap, getting those stickers on there and stuff, but it really made me wonder about how many people actually got enjoyment out of that game, out of that one cartridge, you know, other than me. I mean, I know my cartridge has been mine my whole life, and a few people have played it, but mainly it's just been me. I think maybe my roommate Jake, my ex-roommate, played it. Maybe my cousin Joe. I don't remember. But that's probably about it. So maybe 2 or 3 people have actually played that cartridge. And you know, this one, who knows? So I'd say hundreds of people played it. Hey, something to think about. Anyway, that was the only thing I was going to really talk about was that, and then I got off on the tangent with the Repro box and showed you some of the other things. So, anyway, that's just a little something to think about. And I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? Have you ever thought about it? I mean, what do you think? You know, I mean, Do you hate those stickers? I hate those void stickers too. They're hard to get off, but that's why I left it for last, and I was getting ready to get it off, and I'm like, I'm going to go show this on the cam that it was a rental for real, because it's got one of those stupid-ass void stickers on it, and just talk about it for a minute. So thanks for letting me talk about it, and I'll see you next vid. Bye.